Chrysler's Jefferson North Assembly Plant, spanning an incredible 283 acres, is the birthplace of the high-performance, now legendary Jeep Grand Cherokee. Located in Detroit, Michigan, Jefferson North operates 20 hours a day and produces just over 1,200 vehicles daily.
We currently have just under 600 robots. The majority of those robots are within the body shop.
But it's the 4,700 highly skilled employees focusing on precision craftsmanship that really keep this facility moving. And in 2012, Jeep seemed to have found its winning formula as Jeep-branded vehicles went on to sell over 700,000 units worldwide.
The Jeep brand is one that you can drop it in a country in the middle of nowhere and people will look at that and they may not know the language, but they know Jeep.
And unlike many auto manufacturers, every single Jeep product produced at Jefferson North is already spoken for.
We build 1,205 vehicles a day. Every one of those is sold and going to a customer.
But how do these amazing machines get from the conceptual phase through the factory and to its owner's garage? Back in 1941, the first sport utility vehicle, or SUV, was developed by Willys Overland for the United States Army. Known as a Jeep, short for General Purpose Vehicle or GP, this lightweight four-wheel drive vehicle quickly gained popularity with Allied forces in World War II. Due to the versatility of these Jeep SUVs, they saw action in every branch of the U.S. military. So it's no wonder that GIs returning to the U.S. were eager to have a vehicle with similar capabilities back home. In the years following the war, Jeep vehicles slowly but steadily made inroads to the American domestic market, as the public saw the recreational potential in the Jeep SUV's durable design and performance. And while Jeep no longer serves the U.S. military, it's transformed itself into a thriving consumer brand, with growing sales all over the world. And for the Jeep Grand Cherokee, its journey begins right here in the Jefferson North Assembly Plant in Detroit, Michigan.
We're at the start of the process in the body shop. This is where 26 different species of vehicles start over a 26.2-mile journey or 1.6 days. We're standing in front of the Framer 1 process, which marries up the aperture inner to the underbody. We're surrounded by 589 robots. There's three main functions that the robots do in the shop here. They material handle, taking large parts to their final nesting locations, resistant spot welding, and applying sealer application to the vehicle. The robots require very little maintenance. On average, we spend about 20 minutes per week in each one of the robots doing minor maintenance tasks to them.
Once the basic components are joined to create a template, it's time to begin filling in all the gaps. The shell of the vehicle is transported to the first stage of roof decking via automated tracks. The shell is then fitted with roofing beams to add structure and stability. Multiple variations of the Jeep Grand Cherokee travel across the manufacturing line each day, so the technicians reference monitors to accurately assemble the various vehicles. Then, the frame is sent farther down the line, where it is sealed to ensure there's no potential for water leakage during an off-road adventure.
Because of the off-road capability of the Jeep brand, this process is extremely important to us. After that sealer is set in place, you'll see the body side aperture being set over the top of that, and then the vehicle works its way into the framing segment. So each one of those robots are running a specific pattern that it repeats every time. It's style specific for the two different body styles that we have in there.
Although the sealer is applied in the body shop, the material does not expand until the vehicle enters the first oven in the paint process.
You can see the application of the sealer that goes on, but the aperture or the body side of the vehicle is then put over the top of that. When that material gets into its oven, it will expand out 300% and fill all the voids. That helps the product make the water fording requirement, which is it needs to sit in 21 inches of water for 30 minutes and not leak water. That's part of the off-road capability of the vehicle.
Just prior to the roof assembly, the robotic system scans the SUV's vehicle identification number, or VIN, to match it with the appropriate roof, hood, and doors. The The system then selects each component piece from a series of cues and applies them to the vehicle. The roof, hood, doors, and liftgate are all set in place by a 1,500-pound FANUC robot. These incredible machines use optic sensors to determine that each piece is set in the correct location. The final stage in the body department is the installation of the liftgate. Holes are punched into the frame. And with the use of automatic cameras, the robots determine where to anchor the liftgate, then promptly secure it in place.
End effector comes out, gate's put back down, and the car is complete. This is the end of the body shop process.
Coming up, we'll drop in the power and watch as this intricate collection of parts come together to become one fierce driving machine.
Right here is the automatic happens. The body and drivetrain is married together.
Then Oregon Freeze Dry shows us how they're preparing food for your next backpacking adventure, or somewhere a bit further away.
We have been on every space shot that's gone into outer space to send freeze-dried food into outer space.
Don't go away. In recent years, Jeep has begun to incorporate more sleek and sophisticated design elements into its products to enhance their aesthetic appeal. But a Jeep just wouldn't be a Jeep if its ultimate purpose wasn't equipped to handle off-road terrain and extreme conditions. And one of the most essential components to a Jeep SUV's design and build process is ensuring the vehicle's integrity, which in turn makes passenger safety their top priority. This multicolored Jeep Grand Cherokee frame maps out the various types of materials used to construct each vehicle. The red sections along the front bumper, windshield, and beneath the cockpit are known as hot stamp steel. This is an incredibly strong type of steel integrated at strategic points to best protect passengers in the event of a high-impact collision or rolling scenario. The pink sections along the side and door interiors represent where ultra-high strength steel is placed to protect passengers from side impact. The hood is constructed out of aluminum, while the remaining structure is built from galvanized steel.
The vehicle just came through our paint process. It then goes into a big storage and retrieval system for us that gets ready to sequence the vehicles into assembly.
The term sequencing means every vehicle coming out of the paint shop now occupies a unique place on the assembly line, appropriate to the particular model and accessory package, and is finally making its way to completion. The supply warehouse is contacted when a particular vehicle makes its way out of paint, requesting the specific parts needed for final assembly. The build kit is put together, then transferred to the corresponding station on the assembly line, ready for installation. This process needs to happen with precision and in a timely fashion. It's an absolute essential component in Jefferson North's ability to build their Jeep vehicles accurately and on schedule.
We build 1,205 vehicles a day. Every one of those is sold and going to a customer.
But before these rugged SUVs make their way to the customer, they get set up with a healthy dose of power in the engine department. Jeep can produce up to 9 different engine combinations with 11 different transmissions, from the 3-liter diesel, the 3.6-liter Pentastar, 5.7-liter Hemi engine, to the intimidating 6.4-liter Hemi for the Performance SRT line.
The motor dress line, all the material is presented in kit form to each of the operators as the engine works its way down the conveyor. What you'll notice about it is the operator never turns their back to their work.
This kitting method is another key element in Jefferson North maintaining its production schedule. With this method, the parts are readily available within 60 degrees of the technician, which reduces time and energy that may otherwise be spent searching for parts.
You want the individual to be focused on the quality aspect of putting their part on the vehicle. So the parts that you see, the alternator, the starter, some of the wiring harness bundles are all part of that kit that ride down the motor line for that specific engine. The last part of the trim build, the instrument panel is in place, all the fuel and brake lines are installed in the vehicle. From a hardware standpoint, both wiring, mechanically and electrically, everything is complete on the vehicle and it's ready to go over to chassis decking.
Simply put, the chassis decking is the point in which the body of the car is married to the completed chassis. This moment demonstrates the synchronized and efficient assembly line at its best. If any stage along the way is left incomplete or incorrect, the completion of multiple vehicles would be compromised.
The engine is done, the complete chassis is done and ready to be what we call decked up into the vehicle.
Right here is the automatic happens. The body and drivetrain is married together. My two partners thread bolts up through, tie the frame and the drivetrain together. What I'm doing is holding it still, so it's not rocking back and forth. It's on there tight now. In order to keep the Jeep from swinging and bouncing around,
Right. Yeah, right. Hold on.
we tie it down to the bottom of the boom bucket.
Going down, going down. Going down. As they're lining up the drift pins and raising that into place, it'll travel the next 5 stations and have all the fasteners secured to finalize the decking process.
On any given day, there are 2,000 Jeep vehicles in various stages of production, which means there are 675 vehicles traveling through the 422 workstations that comprise the final trim process.
Or about 10 hours worth of assembly time as it travels through the 422 workstations to manufacture the vehicle.
Once the trim stage is complete, the Jeep Grand Cherokee makes its way to the home stretch, still requiring some important final touches.
Tires and wheels are put into a sequence, very important at this time, and fed through a silo, and then they come down to the operator. That operator rolls that wheel into place, loosely installs the lug nuts. The vehicle moves forward to the next station where a multi-runner runs that down. Well, the equipment that we use is a Bosch nut runner, it's called. It's a multi-spindle fastening piece of equipment that runs all 5 fasteners at the same time. The front end alignment equipment now takes and aligns all 4 tires. When the vehicle is pulled onto the stall, you can see a small laser that is going around that calibrates the wheel. If there's adjustment that's required, the operator that is down in the pit underneath the car adjusts the camber, the toe, the specification.
Finally, each vehicle is put through the final systems check in the rolls booth to confirm it's absolutely ready to be shipped to the customer.
When the car enters the rolls booth, the operator then plugs the car into the computer that's there. It's checking for emissions, brake, and transmission function. It'll run it through a series of tests to validate all 3 of those options on the vehicle.
The build procedures taking place at the Jefferson North Assembly Plant are sometimes referred to as stages A through J. Once these phases are complete, the Jeep is considered KZ, which all takes place once the vehicle enters the shipping process.
It is handed over to the shipping company. They take control of it, drive the vehicle away, load it to a trailer or a truck depending on its destination, and then it's shipped to the customer.
As people continue to seek adventure and push the limits of their explorations, Jeep SUVs will be there to provide a set of wheels to get you through the thick of it. Each Jeep vehicle is tailor-made, designed to be durable, capable, stylish, and of course able to withstand the rigors of any type of off-road activity. But to make such an extreme vehicle, you've got to start with one very extreme factory. When we come back, we cool things off a bit as Oregon Freeze Dry prepares its food for a deep freeze.
We're trying to slowly freeze to create an ice crystal that is large enough that that water molecule then can be removed from the food very easily.
And then, we'll see how a sport from 15th century Scotland is being brought to the 21st century in Phoenix, Arizona.
Go for it.
As a species, we can't consider our past, present, or our future without acknowledging our drive for exploration. From the time the first humans ventured out of Africa to explorations into outer space, it can be argued that the human experience is framed by an insatiable curiosity to venture to new horizons, leading to some of our finest accomplishments and greatest struggles. And whether it's the explorers of the Renaissance setting sail for distant lands or intrepid adventurers scaling unfathomable heights, none of it would have been possible if man hadn't figured out a way to make food travel. Located in the beautiful Willamette Valley,